Obey the Puck is on Twitter at Obey Puck Show and Facebook at Obey the Puck, the HIC Talk Radio Network, HIC Talk Radio on all social media platforms. Kelly is here. Paul is here. I am here. Let's get this started. So, the first things first. Even though the Stars did not officially release the jerseys, we pretty much know what the Dallas Stars Winter Classic jerseys are, and the Nashville Predator. Wait, maybe Paul is surprised. Paul hasn't seen this? Has Paul not seen this?
I have not seen the Dallas. I saw the Nashville. Now I must look it up. Keep talking.
Well, yeah. Oh no, I got the tweet for you. But the Dallas Stars have basically what the jersey is going to be in the T-shirts that are on their shop, and they released a teaser video of the rest of the jersey, and it's a green jersey, so I'm going to favor that one. And the Nashville Predators jersey came out. Now, the Nashville Predators jersey is a throwback to the Dixie. Was it Kelly? Were they called the Nashville Dixie Flyers? What was their full name?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's that. There. That is the answer to my question. The Nashville Dixie Flyers. They reversed it, so it's basically like the light version of what it was. I believe yellow and purple. I will say this: if it wasn't a throwback, I wouldn't like this jersey. I generally hate word marks. The Flyers are playing the Canes right now, and their new road jersey is garbage. It's Canes. Right across. It's a garbage jersey. I hate it. So the throwback makes it at least, let's say, acceptable. Nobody cares what I think, but because it's a throwback, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. I'm not that upset about it because otherwise that'd be a garbage jersey. That would be bad. The Dallas Stars, I think, won this Winter Classic because based on what the shirts, it's the word mark, but it's inside of the big D for Dallas. And on the side, they have it's green and silver and white striping with Texas with a D in it and the Winter Classic jersey, Winter Classic logo, which is the belt buckle on the other side. I like that jersey. We always had this. We have a history on Obey the Puck of being fashionistas as far as hockey jerseys. So I have my thoughts. Kelly, you first. You're the graphic designer. What do you think about what's come out? Because this is the first one in a long time where we're starting from scratch. There hasn't been Winter Classic jerseys from the other teams thus far, so this is kind of brand new here.
I like that they went solid retro for Nashville. There is hockey history there. It's just not NHL history. And I think the NHL, of course the NHL is going to promote their history, but hockey history should count, especially in southern cities where they're trying to grow the audience in that area where it's not a traditional audience, people who haven't played or grown up playing. There are generations of people in those areas who have grown up playing. It's just small compared to places like Minnesota and Boston, and Vancouver and Winnipeg and stuff like that. So I think it's cool that they kind of call back to a historic team in that area. The Dallas ones, it's kind of the same thing. There has been hockey in Texas and Dallas in particular for a long time. There's history to draw from. And that's kind of a weird one because they have the history of the North Stars to draw from. So they've kind of done that with the colors. But they've gone with a simple retro logo. Like you said, we haven't seen the actual jerseys yet, but we have a pretty good idea of what they're going to be. So I like that it's going to be kind of a clean looking retro vibe.
Yeah, I really like that Stars jersey. And I'm, I have this affinity for the color green, so no complaints from me. Man, the NHL, God, the officiating just gets worse. Sorry. Anyway, Paul, Winter Classic jerseys. What's your take now that you've seen both?
I'm still mad that they are not playing Minnesota in the Winter Classic. I I like the Nashville jersey. It's like Kelly said, there's not a lot of NHL history to go on, so they drew from the city. It's good. Nashville hockey fans are going to really like it, I think. They went yellow without being awful with it. A lot of yellow could be a tough color.
Well, yeah. Real tough,
as we've talked about many times. Yeah, like the Dallas one, I want to see more of before I make a judgment. But it's a Dallas. It's got the Texas map on it. There's a given. So I'm hoping it's more than just stars across the chest. But
I tell you, Paul, before you finish, after last year around this time, we got to look at the Flyer Stadium Series jersey, and all three of us had a collective, because it was just a picture of it hanging on a hanger. And then once you saw the guys in the gear, it was like, oh, excuse me. And I bought one the next day. So ever since then, when I see jersey, I'm like, I'm not going to say anything yet. I want to look at it for a little while. And the Nashville thing, it was very much like, what is this garbage? And then, oh, that makes sense. Okay. Well, I do think when you learn the reason why something looks a way, it does change what your brain perceives as fugly. Because at first that was very ugly, and I was like, oh, that's not so ugly, because the jersey before that was really ugly. I saw some people that were mad they didn't have that weird, I kind of compare it, Kelly, to the Capitals Weagle that flew down into the ground. That weird skull predator. That was like in the
like the 3/4 front facing.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. People were like
turning the corner.
Yeah. Why did they do that? Well, because it's garbage. That's why they didn't do that. I'm also glad the Stars didn't go back to their the jerseys they had initially. Am I keeping you up, Paul? The jerseys they had initially with the Dallas when they left Minnesota. They're so boring. This is the first time I feel that Dallas has had a competent jersey set. So I'm glad they went the way they did with their Winter Classic. Cool. Awesome. I thought you had more.
Oh, no. There haven't been too many swings and misses over the whole history of the Winter Classics as far as jerseys go.
No, the only time Kelly, this brought up the memories of the Flyers jersey I love so much that got the honorable mention on the last episode, that third that nobody likes, because the only thing people remember about that is the chrome logo on the front, where they changed the Flyers logo and they had chrome on it. And I said, fine, remove the chrome. That should have been their next step for their jerseys. I love the striping and the lettering and the gray and the white. And the only misstep, to circle back around, the only misstep that Kelly and I collectively looked at was when the Winter Classic and the Stadium Series did that chrome logo. Do you remember? I think Anaheim had it. New York had it. New York, the Islanders had that NY with the hockey stick, and it was chrome on an otherwise great jersey. Same thing with the Mighty Ducks. Same thing with the Ducks that had the Mighty Ducks logo, but it was like that chrome, so it made it look like it was gray. It was terrible looking, much like the shirt. It's terrible. So yeah, I liked it. I like what they were doing with it. I was pleasantly surprised. The Heritage Classic happened between the last episode and this, and unbeknownst to anybody, except Kelly is the only one, the three of us that knew it was happening that day. Those jerseys were sweet. No complaints about any of those. But alas, that's where we are with that. And like I said, there's not a lot to talk about, so we're going to keep rolling. Paul, we're going to take a little view into your world right now, and your world circles around into the NWHL, because I saw you on TV. I saw you on TV.
Did you? You can't miss me. I mean, every time the puck goes by, there I am.
Well, yeah. But during the intermission, at one point, they zoomed in on your table behind the glass. So I was like, you were like checking your phone and talking with whoever was next to you on this side. And for about a good 5 minutes there on the feed was Paul Baker and whoever else was in the box with you talking about whatever you guys were talking about. And I was on Twitch going, hey, there's Paul. I know that guy.
That's why I was looking at my phone, because I got this message. My phone rang. Oh, hey, Dan, I see you.
Yeah. as the shot was still on the feed, I literally took a screenshot. I was like, Paul, I see it. And I tagged you. So how's it going? Because it's weird to be watching a game and go, hey, I know that guy. Did I hear that?
Weirder if you were listening to me, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You were coming through very clear on the broadcast.
I hope I sounded okay.
That's what I was asking. You sounded fine, so
I've got to tell you, it's been so much fun to be doing the PA.
Yeah.
And it's been a while. I worked for a couple different sports teams for a while, and this came up. I had not been doing it for a long time, for 6-7 years now. It's just so nice to be around a team and part of everything now, and to be doing the PA, which is kind of the stuff I'd always wanted to do. It's just been a lot of fun. So and the Pride have made it more fun because they're off to a 7-0 start. They've just been destroying everybody. So that makes it even better.
Goody gumdrops. Is there a small team film because this team feel because this is a big deal, but is there like a different atmosphere as if you were playing, but working with a bigger team?
Oh, absolutely, because it's grassroots because the league, even though they've been doing a lot of good things and there's been a lot of positive buzz around it, it's still really, we on Stadium Journey podcast, we just talked about the Arena Football League and all their travails and how the league is actually shutting down. So we're always thinking we've got to band together and work harder because this could happen to us anytime. So it's a tight-knit group. It's a small organization. I think they've only got 3 people who work full-time for the team. They've got a president, a general manager, and a business operations guy. Everybody else are game day volunteers, So, yeah, and the players, this is their second job. They all have full-time jobs during the week and play, fit in a couple practices during the week at night and games on the weekends. And so it is very much small time and kind of brings everybody closer together because of that.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. And with that, there's more sponsorship news, sir.
Yeah, since we last got together, we haven't talked about the NWHL much, but they are slowly but surely, and that seems to be our phrase whenever we talk about the NWHL.
I like slowly but surely better than rushing it.
Better than overextending and better than a bad business plan. But yeah, they're adding sponsors left and right. I know because I get to do plugs for them all throughout the game. This year they've added, among others, Chipwich, American Giant Clothing. Saw some of the players out doing a little photo shoot outside of Warrior Ice Arena one day. They wouldn't give me any clothes. They didn't have big fat guy sizes, so I don't know. I'm not their target demographic by any means.
Not at all.
But over the last couple of weeks, they added 2 more sponsors, one being Rocket Sport, which make the hockey equipment dryers. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yes.
Every team's got them, and it's one of those things that looks like a big blow dryer, and it's got little prongs, little spikes that come up, and you sit your gloves on them, and you go into the locker room, and during the intermission, does this thing, dries off your gloves, your equipment. And just a couple of days ago, was it just yesterday? Yes, today is only Tuesday. Norma Tech Recovery became an official sponsor of the league, too. And what they make are those compression recovery boots that they're big in like Ironman triathlons. And, so you put them on after your workout, I guess. I've never used them, but, I'm old and don't work out a whole lot. You put this giant ski boot up over your leg and zip it up and it vacuums or something and it compresses the muscles and it aids in recovery and speeds healing that you need after workout. So I've seen pictures of a couple of the players with them on, and they look kind of funny. I don't think I could get one of those on me.
No. I'll tell you this, though. The Rocket dryers are a little more inexpensive than you would imagine.
Really?
$150 here.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and you also have the knockoff ones, which are much cheaper, but for $140, $150, you're getting the whole that big, huge dryer thing. I was like, oh, well, okay, that's surprising. I didn't know that.
So I'm waiting for a little bit of kickback for the PA announcer, but nothing's aside from a couple Chipwiches, nothing's reached me yet.
Brother, I'll take Chipwich as payment to watch hockey all day.
Chipwiches are delicious, man.
And may I say, since we're on the topic of the NWHL, Kelly and I were watching. Sorry, I saw a tweet that I immediately responded to in my head, but couldn't type it out, and I was about the experience. Kelly and I were watching the NWHL last weekend, and I will say this: the Twitch streaming is working out better than I expected. The cameras, the quality has changed from when they were just streaming it on YouTube. There is a feature on Twitch, because when it was announced, we were talking about there's going to be multiple games playing at multiple times. How's that going to work? There is a feature, because Twitch is a gaming streaming platform primarily, called squad streaming. And that's I watch these guys on Funhouse, and one of the guys I follow is Bruce. And Bruce will play the same game as 3 of his friends. And if they have a certain thing loaded onto their account, they can stream it all at the same time. You hit a button, you can watch everybody at the same time. Brilliantly, the NWHL has a squad streaming feature going. So 2 games, I was able to watch 2 games at the same time. Both games that were happening that day. You hit a button, boom, they're on the screen. And what is good about that for people who don't like watching on their little screens and want to watch on TV, the Xbox and PlayStation have the Twitch app, and you can hit squad stream and watch it on the same screen in HD. So we had 2 games going. I had AHL going on the computer. It was great. So
Very nice.
that Twitch thing, there's people chatting the whole time. It's growing the community. I am so happy to see that.
And the numbers have been good too, from what I read.
They're very well. The one thing I noticed, the numbers don't dip as the broadcast is going too much. That's an important thing. Like, if you're broadcasting for an extended period of time, and a sporting event is a long thing. If you're broadcasting for a long extended period of time, you see that number dip, you're like, oh, they're not dipping. So it's looking up. I'm very happy about this. If we get a local team, please, NWHL. That's all I'm trying to say. I can only kiss your ass so much before it's ingenuine. I just want a team locally. Is that so much to ask? Sorry.
Shouldn't be. They also named their first player of the month, something they're starting for the season. Just today, they announced the winner of what month of October? Thank you. McKenna Brand from the Boston Pride won the first player of the month award. She's got seven goals, leads the league, 14 points, tied for the league lead. So she had a really good month. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. I will support the NWHL to the very end. I don't give a good goddamn if the city of Boston wins another championship. I'm so tired. I don't care.
Not even if that means I can lift the Isabel Cup up over my head.
No. It falls on you and it hurts your face.
Oh, knowing me, I'll fall on the ice or something.
And you know what I would do? There's a feature on Twitch called Clip. So if you're watching a game or a video game, something happens, you hit the clip button, it'll clip the last 30 seconds that you can upload to their channel. Please win so I can clip Paul falling on his ass. Because that's going to be in the intro for Obey the Puck forever.
Forever. Forever.
Kelly, did you have anything you wanted to add about the about the NWHL?
No, I do not.
Okay, I know you don't have anything to add about these because you haven't seen these, but the last 2 things I want to talk about is Milan Lucic, and I want to talk about Backus. I am saying that right? Backus and Sabrin. The Backus and Sabrin one first. That was unfortunate. Immediately, people saw the name Backus and saw Boston and was like, how dare he? That was clearly incidental. That was 2 guys that went in, and I believe Sabrin was going in for the hit, actually.
Yeah, and they hit face-to-face.
Yes. When we say we want to have a face-to-face meeting, this is not how we want this to ever happen. And that is no pun intended. This, not only did he have the impact on his face, he had the impact on his face when he hit the ice. Sabrin did.
Yes.
And it shook Backus so much that he had to leave. Did he ever come back that game?
Well, he's actually in the concussion protocol himself.
Oh, because of that?
Yes. Yes, I mean Sabrin was out immediately when they made contact,
Well,
and
yeah.
he was out before he hit the ice, and that's why he fell so awkwardly. He fell face first because he was out and couldn't, brace himself for the hit and hit it. Did you see the picture of him that he posted on social media?
Yes, I
Oh,
did.
yeah, he took a shot there, and yeah, Backus was visibly shaken. I mean, I didn't see it live because I was at a game. I was either at a game or I was at the Pride. But, oh, that's a game too. Yeah, he was shaken up, and he was. They were saying he was actually in tears, and he ended up leaving the game. I don't know if it's because he was really shaken up, or he did go in the concussion protocol, and he missed Boston's game last night, and he's out again tonight. So he got dual concussions, and like you said, a totally accidental collision. It wasn't a hit; it was a collision.
I saw I can never get his name right. Borowecki. I know I'm saying that wrong on the Senators. Was yelling at people in the crowd to not take pictures because people were taking pictures as he was down on the ice. And at one point, he looked up, as like, "No, stop." Some people have no decorum. Well, it only happens in Boston, obviously.
Yeah, it's because it's Boston.
Racist.
No, that's a white guy. So, yeah, I mean, I've been to games where somebody is hurt and obviously seriously hurt, and the PA will crank up the music at a loud volume. They're bringing a stretcher out to a guy, and I remember it happened one time in Providence, and once they got the guy off the ice, we went straight up to the team management and said, "Look, if that ever happens again, we're walking."
Yeah, don't ever. That's disrespectful.
Get the hell. Never happen again.
Yeah, good. That's ridiculous. That's whatever. Kelly, is there any moment you've seen in person on TV you can think of like this where it was incidental and the game just stopped dead like that?
There was the incident last year in the playoffs, and I cannot remember. It was a Hershey player that just just went full speed into the end boards. And that's the scariest thing I've ever seen. I mean, I wasn't there live, but watching it on AHL TV. I'm sorry, what?
Was it Aaron Ness?
I believe so. Yeah, I mean, it was terrifying. He just hit the boards and didn't move, and you saw every player on the ice and the referees were all just waving frantically, to get people on the ice to help them, and that was terrifying. And it obviously took a while. They had to figure out as much as they could about what was going on, and then figure out how to get the stretcher on the ice for him and everything. And I don't believe he made any motion, being stretchered off the ice. It was well after the fact that things were okay and it was announced on social media. But yeah, that's never good to see.
Oh, I was watching it again. Oh my God. Yeah, it was Aaron Ness. It was against Bridgeport. They were up 2-1 in the third when his skates gave out and boom, head first into the boards. Yeah, that always makes me nervous. It's the same thing, Kelly, you see watching wrestling with me when if something happens and you're like, oh, was that not real? And the referee immediately turns around. Paul, just in future reference, if you're ever watching wrestling again, and the referee does this. That is not kayfabe. That is real. That means we're stopping and we need real help. That is the international sign for SOS. They put up the X, S goes down. And the other one I compare to that is watching hockey and watching players and refs on both teams and both sides going like this. Come here. We need help.
Get that stretcher out now.
Now, the second one was not incidental. Nope. I don't know how we're going to feel about this. I have a feeling Paul and I are going to lean the same way. Was Lucic and, my God, who was it?
I forget. Was just watching it before we went on air. It started with an S.
POS. Cole Sherwood.
Yeah, Sherwood, yes.
People are throwing the word sucker punch around. I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this. You got to be careful with the word sucker punch. He saw it coming. I'm not justifying, Paul. I see your face. Hold on. I'm not justifying what Lucic did. Lucic reacted to pushing into the goal and punched him in the face. And nobody did anything about it. Again, that is why stuff like this happens. I'm not giving Lucic an excuse, but everybody let him do it. Pushing and shoving him is not going to stop Lucic from being a schmuck or what you perceive to be a schmuck. The guy was Sherwood was going after the puck after the play and shoving a stick into the goalie. Lucic reacted to it. And nobody did anything after that reaction except hug and yell at each other. And that doesn't fix anything. Referees aren't going to fix anything. We're not going to beat the dead horse about how not even 50-50 NHL officiating is these days. But we know the officials are not going to do anything. Am I wrong by saying that, Paul?
No, and it seems to be the way of the hockey world these days. It's not let the players police it on the end. We've talked about this ad nauseum, and I know that my Twitter timeline, and I'm sorry, Darren, is filled with people bemoaning the state of hockey these days. I'm not one of those, but I kind of fall in the middle ground there. There is a time and a place for this, and it's really disappearing. And the fact that Lucic got suspended for this
is ridiculous.
That just floored me. I mean, I was kind of expecting it, but at the same time, it's like, all right, let's just make a rule that you can't punch anybody anymore then, because that's what that was.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Kelly,
if we really don't want fighting, okay, then say it.
Just say it. Kelly, it is I call it the Tom Wilson, Zach Ronaldo rule, Kelly. Especially as good as Tom Wilson has become, because that's how good he always was. If he ever touches anybody, he's catching a suspension. Because everybody has this BS, and I'm going to say it about Lucic too, a BS preconceived notion that he has no hockey skill and it's just a thug, just like Tom Wilson. Well, Tom Wilson's scoring goals ad nauseum right now, so you tell me he has no hockey skill. Lucic is no fool. Lucic didn't sucker punch anybody. I'm sorry. You've heard the show before. I'll tell you if somebody's sucker punching somebody. That was not a sucker punch. Nobody stepped in and did anything, and that is why somebody is allowed to punch somebody in the face and not have any repercussions, because the referees just can go, no, stop, and everybody's going to hug each other and yell at each other. And I agree with you. I'm not ashamed of it, and I did not get into it because Darren was catching crap from all sides.
Yeah, you was,
and other people. And I will say this unapologetically, and I don't care who else gets upset about what I'm going to have to say. Believe it or not, Darren is probably the more logical of the fighting. He's the most logical on that side of it.
Oh, absolutely. We've talked to Darren many times.
Darren's a smart guy. He's no fool. And I agree with him 100%. A, it was a sucker punch. B, somebody should have stepped in and did something other than the referee just saying no, bad. And C, not a suspension. Kelly, has Tom Wilson's been kind of laying off that kind of crap this year, has he not?
His hitting's definitely gone. He's actually hitting again. He seemed to take most of last season off from his game, which is a very physical game.
Yeah.
This season it's definitely stepped up. But that's the way he's played his entire career. He's a power forward. He kind of got the goon label because Adam Oates just put him on the fourth line, and that's how he got his minutes at that point. But I mean, he was a power forward in juniors, and then all the stupidity happened over the 2 or 3 seasons or whatever. Last season started off with the huge suspension from a stupid play in the preseason.
Very.
And then, yeah, like I said, he was actively avoiding hits last season, which he normally would have, finished and gone through with. He was actively avoiding, at least in my opinion. And then kind of as the season wore on, and definitely in the playoffs, he was getting more and more back to his physical game, clean. But anytime that anything was borderline with him, it became a huge issue. He's earned that. when you're that kind of stupid, you're gonna earn that. He's got to kind of get back on the right side of it and prove that he can play that game and play that game cleanly. But in split-second sports time, I don't know if it's possible. But at this point, that's what he's got to do, because if he has one of those borderline hits, or all over the line hits, he's gone. We're talking Rafi Torres gone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it just, I watched that, the last 2 weeks I've learned to, when you read a tweet, don't react right away. And because you don't do that in life anymore at this age. I hope not. You wait a second, let it simmer. And I watched it 5 or 6 times, and I'm like, and I see people on Flyers Twitter and hockey Twitter in general lambasting this guy. Sorry. I don't agree with it this time. That is the way it is. What was it, a 2-game suspension?
Yeah, you got 2 games.
I'll take Lucic in my lineup. I'll say it. No, you won't.
Not anymore. Man, I loved him when he was on the Bruins, but then something happened. Man, he didn't even lose a step. I mean, he had a grand piano surgically implanted upon his shoulders, and he just was not unable to move. Oh.
Hey, Kelly, where can people follow you on Twitter?
Folks can follow me at Skid Central.
I think that's it for tonight, Paul, unless I've forgotten something else.
No, congrats to Zdeno Chara on his 1,500th NHL game. 21st player to ever reach that milestone.
Who?
Chara.
Who?
Tall guy.
Oh, I'm kidding. Yeah, congratulations on whatever happened. Flyers are tied at 1 going into. Listen, for the audio listeners, after we're done here, you're going to hear episode 2 of another Flyers podcast. For those who just want to hear the Flyers podcast with me and Cash, go to youtube.com/danlaw83. Episode 2 is up there. We're not too upset about the Flyers. It could be better. This is going to be a tough week, and possibly the end of the year defining week. They're playing the Canes right now. The Canes should kill us, and it's tied at 1. Carter Hart woke up. He had a little slump there. Everybody's kind of waking up. We'll see what happens. But so stay tuned for episode 2 for the audio listeners of another Flyers podcast. Like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, we're about to check out of here. So, Paul, where can people follow you?
Can be found at PuckmanRI.
Follow me on Twitter at DanLaw83. Obey the Puck is at Obey Puck Show on Twitter and Facebook. Obey the Puck. And, of course, the HIAC Talk Radio Network is on all social media platforms, HIAC Talk Radio. And you can find us part of the VOC Nation Radio Network on iTunes, or go to thebradyhicks.com, click on other programs, and look for our name. For Kelly Levy and Paul Baker, I am the above-average comedian, Dan Colachico. We will see you next time. Have a good night.